Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. And today's game up on the tabletop is World Championship Russian Roulette. This is by Tuesday Night Games, 2 to 6 players, 20 to 45 minutes to play, and ages 18 and up to be on the safe side. In this game, you're basically going to be playing in a Russian roulette tournament. Russian roulette is the thing that's kind of a made-up thing based on a story where people in Russia would, for fun, or to gamble, would take a pistol that had like a loader, and they'd slide bullets in, maybe one or two, and then they'd stick it back in, they'd spin it, and then they'd point it at their head and they'd click or bang, and they'd pass it along and go back and forth to each other up until somebody got the bullet, basically. And the winner would be the person who didn't die, right? And that's Russian roulette. And this game is basically the tabletop version of that. Yes, Russian roulette. To all my knowledge, it's not actually a real thing, and there's only been a few times anybody's even attempted to do it, and typically speaking, they were young kids. So we'll go ahead and get into the details of how this game works and whether or not it should be for you. Yes, World Championship Russian Roulette. To set this game up, the first thing you do is decide how many players are playing the game, and then you're going to give each player the required pieces they need. Each player is going to get 4 character cards, or character tiles, a captain and 3 teammates. They are going to get their player reference, which is also what they're going to use throughout the game for bidding. They're going to get a deck of 6 cards that will have their color on it that all say click, and 1 bang card from the bang deck, which means you'll have a total of 7 actual cards. There's also a dice of each character's color that they're going to get, and it's going to go from, I believe, 0 to 5, as well as an action card. They're the smaller cards. The rest of the things will go in the middle of the table. It's basically going to be a bang deck. This is the bang bullets that you'll set aside so players can gather more of them if need be. There are action cards that you'll shuffle up and place face down in front of all players. That's the deck of cards that people will gather as well. And victory points that are in the formation of bullets, 1s and 5 pointers. Anybody who's not playing, set aside all their extra pieces. They won't be needed. What you see here is a 4-player game. Okay, how to play. Okay, so how to play the game. And as a side note, my voice has been out for the last week and a half, so I'll do my best to cover it as long as I can without losing out on too much of my vocals here, but here we go. So, this game is played in phases, and each player will play the phases simultaneously with each other. So when 4 players play, they will go through the first phase, second, third, fourth, fifth, and finally 6th, and they will keep doing that, repeating it until someone wins. The way someone wins in this game is somebody hits 15 or more points. And when somebody hits the threshold of 15, the person who has the highest points wins. If there's a tie, like if you had 16 points and I had 16 and everybody had less than 15, we play another round until one of us or one of them beat us out in having the most points. Let's talk about how the game works now. So like I said, there are 6 phases. The first phase is the pocket phase. You'll start with 7 cards in your hand, basically 6 clicks and 1 boom, or a bang card. This is the bullet that you place into your gun before you spin it, right? Well, you'll get to choose one of these cards, and you can slide that card into your pocket, which is underneath your player tile. And everyone else will do the same, as a way of kind of deciding whether or not they're going to stick their bullet in their pocket and try and cheat this round. After everyone has decided whether they're going to try and cheat the round by sliding in a bullet, or being fair and sliding in a click, they're going to move on to the spin. And the spin is where you shuffle your deck. Once everyone has shuffled their deck, I strongly suggest that you have somebody else around the table cut your deck for you to make fairness a thing, because it's a very small deck of cards and it is fairly easy for a decent card shuffler to cheat in this game. So just to avoid that possibility of unfairness or players knowing where the card is, have somebody cut. Well, you've pocketed a card, you shuffle the rest of the cards, and now you're going to move on to bidding. You'll use this die to bid. It's not a die that's going to be used for rolling, it's a die that you use to bid. And the bid is going to be how many of the bullets do you wish to fire off when the time comes. You can do up to 5 or 0. That's right, you can always choose to do 0. It'll give you 1 point, and you won't get shot, but you're not really risking anything, are you? So you'll choose a number, and you'll place it down. And everyone else will as well, and then you will reveal at the same time. I chose 3. Once everyone is bid, you'll move on to the challenge phase. The challenge phase is a time in which anybody can flip over their tile here, their player tile, to accuse somebody of cheating. To accuse somebody of cheating, you will flip over your tile, designate a player you think is cheating, and then that player will have to reveal the card that they pocketed. Now there are two things that can happen when this happens, and you can only do this once around for each player, but if they have a click, which is they're playing fair, then you are going to suffer. So the player that was accused reveals a click. So that player was innocent. The wrongly accused player will get an action card. So if you selected me and had a click, I would get a free action card. And they are gonna have to replace one of their clicks in their deck with a bang card. So they'll actually include another bullet into their deck, and they'll reshuffle and place it face down. And you'll keep doing that as many times as you want, or nobody can choose to accuse. It's really up to you guys how you want to do that. If somebody, however, reveals a bang card as opposed to a click, meaning that they were cheating, the accused player has been caught. The judge, this entity outside of the game, kills that player, and they'll have to flip over one of their teammates and draw an action card, which happens every time you lose a teammate, and they'll be out of the round. Additionally, the player that accused the cheating player will draw 3 bonus action cards for that accusation, right? And that will be the end of the challenge phase. Flip over, designate one person if you think they're cheating, and then check to see what happens and follow the back of the card based on the results. And you can do that in a 4-player game up to 4 times against 4 other players. Then finally is the trigger phase. This is the last important aspect of the phases. It is the phase in which you're going to be taking your deck of cards and revealing up to the number of the total number of the bid you chose. So if you chose 3, you must reveal 3 cards. Chose 2, you can reveal 2. And if you chose 0, you don't reveal any. And you'll flip over. Click, click, click. Okay, great. I did not get shot. And thusly, I'm going to be getting points equal to how many cards I flipped over plus 1. Which means you'll always get 1 point even if you choose 0. If you, however, flipped over a bang card, so if you actually revealed a card and it was a bang card, then you are going to basically suffer the same consequences if you were cheating. You will flip over one of your teammates and you will draw an action card that will hopefully help you later in the round. And then when it gets to this last phase, the point phase, if anybody is eliminated, those players do not get points for this phase. It's only players who have survived the round, whether or not they chose 0 or 5 flips. And what's gonna happen is they'll get those points. 1 point always, and then plus the number of points of the cards that you flipped. And then you'll rinse and repeat. You'll go ahead and take the card that you pocketed, put it back into your hand, and you will then choose a card from your deck to then pocket. And then you're going to go ahead and shuffle, have somebody cut the deck, bid, reveal at the same time. Does anybody want to challenge anybody for cheating? If not, then you'll flip over cards based on your number and score points. And that's the game. Somebody hits 15 points, they win the game before anybody else. Or if everyone else loses all of their teammates and their captain, and you're the only person left standing with life points, you are the winner of the game. World Championship Russian Roulette. There's some more to talk about, but we'll cover that in my review portion. Okay, so let's talk about a board game that's literally all about the fabled game of Russian roulette and how this plays. And I'll cover a few of the nuanced aspects in this portion. Well, the first main thing, which you guys are probably been wondering about, is the action cards. What do they do? Well, on the action cards in the top left-hand corner, we'll have a number. That number references the phases of the game and when you can play this card. And so as an example, air gun is a 5, which means it happens during the trigger phase where you're flipping over cards. You can aim your gun in the air instead of at yourself for the next trigger pull. So if you had selected, 4 trigger pulls and you had flipped over 3, you can reveal the air gun, play it, and point at the sky instead of at yourself. And that is a way to protect yourself. There is a variety of unique abilities in this game that can either protect you, hurt other players, or give you some information. During the first phase, you can choose a player. That player must replace one of their cards in their gun deck with a bullet card. Oh, that's dirty. You can peek at the top 3 cards of your gun deck and let a player choose and peek at the top 1 card of their gun deck. Instead of aiming at yourself, you can choose another player for the next trigger pull. And it just goes on from there, right? These are cards that you can utilize to benefit yourself or hinder other players. You will gain more of these as your characters pass away, your teammates, and hopefully, well, your captain's the last one to go. So when your teammates pass away, you're gonna go ahead and gain the benefits. And if your captain goes, you die. Or if you can accuse somebody accurately, you'll gain 3 of them. So they're very, very powerful cards. Now, I also said that your deck, which always starts with the 6 cards plus the one in your pocket, There is ways where you're going to be increasing the odds to get more bullets in here by players choosing to give you bang cards or placing the click cards in your deck, and thusly making your hand be full of bullets, and you're going to be screwed. Now, the good news though is when you lose a teammate, if you had more than one bullet card in your deck of 7, you can remove those bullet cards. So if for some reason I inaccurately called 2 people in the last 2 rounds and I had 3 bullets in my hand, removing those 2 clicks, when my teammate dies, I will lose the bullets, they'll go back to the deck, and I'll put my clicks back in so I'll have a normal hand. So each time one of your teammates passes away, you kind of get to reset a little bit. The other thing I want to talk about in this game is the point in the game where you're going to actually be pulling the trigger. This is the trigger phase. Technically how this is supposed to work is you'll have your deck, you'll have your number, and you'll put a gun to your head like this, and you'll flip over the cards each time to see if you, right? You can choose if you'd like to use the gun or if you just kind of understand how it's going to work, depending on who's playing with you in the game. For me and my group, it was perfectly fine. We just played with the finger guns, or if you have cash-in guns, those little foam things are pretty fun. But obviously for some people, that might not be a thing they'd like to use. And they can just go ahead and flip over the cards and play it that way. But I think it brings a little bit of fun to the game with the little finger guns and how you can point them, because there'll be times in the game where you'll draw a card and instead of putting it yourself, you point it at somebody else, or they go in the air. And yeah, it's a fun, entertaining aspect of the game. But anyway, that's pretty much all the caveats I have for the game. Obviously, it plays up to 6 players, and I have 4 here. All the characters are essentially the same, and the uniqueness of the game comes with the action cards. Russian Roulette is a solid, fun party game. This game, in my opinion, needs at least 3 players. Honestly, I would say this is a 4, 5, and a 6 player game, hands down. Sure, you can play 2 players, and 3, it's probably gonna be fun, but it's not what I would choose. When I reviewed this, I didn't even bother with those counts, because I knew I wasn't gonna enjoy it as much. And so really 4, 5, and 6 is where it's at. A bunch of craziness happens. This is a party game. This plays like cash and guns and the insanity that ensues, but instead of pointing at other people, most of the time you're pointing it at yourself, and you're risking. And the more you risk, the more points you get, but the more chances that you're gonna gain nothing and lose a teammate. And so you have these kind of options in the game that will benefit you, or if you're kind of behind, you have no choice but to start cheating, or to start looking at the top cards of your deck and using these action cards that benefit you because you've lost teammates. And the game is obviously, the goal is to get to 15. Nobody wants to actually eliminate everybody else. It's the thing that can happen, like right where I know that Bill's on his last life, and everybody else is at 3. Maybe we'll eliminate Bill if he's got more points than us. But typically this is a points game, all with the idea of using your chances to kind of push yourself a little bit ahead, and eventually people can get eliminated in the game. I love this game. This is such a fun party style game. The thematic elements of the game feel great. The idea of pocketing that bullet and just not putting a bullet in your gun, and people can call you out on it later if they suspect you're being a little too greedy. Or the idea of spinning your deck, which is actually how you kind of rotate the clip. Is that a clip? A clip? I know the clip is not, what is it called? It's called barrel, right? We rotate the barrel, right? And that's how you flip this thing over. And then the challenge where people are like, I can handle 3 bullets. What are you guys, wusses? Oh, a 0? And then the trigger pull where you're actually like, okay, and you're flipping over, and there's like this intensity about the game where you're like, okay, I chose 3. That's a 50-50 shot of me going down, but I need 4 points to win the game. And so you get all excited and you're like flipping over the cards while the gun's at your head. And then you pull it off and you're like, yeah! And everybody else is like, damn it! Or people are playing cards against you and you start getting too close. And all these cool shenanigans can happen. Great quality game, super fun. I love the style of the cards. I love the style of, like, everything works with this game as far as theming elements go. If this game sounds like a fun game to you, you're gonna love this game. They did exactly what I would want in a card game / board game for this style of a game. It's push your luck, a little bit of aggression, tense, active moments where things can happen that can be terrible for you or better for you. You can push ahead, you can fall way behind. Yeah, it does all the things I would want a Russian roulette card game / board game to do. Now, was I ever expecting to play a Russian roulette style game where I'm actually pointing a finger gun at my, nah, not really. But once I've got it now, I don't want to get rid of it. Now, the only thing I would suggest, honestly, is for me personally, if you're into it, if you don't have Cash and Guns, you can pick that one up with this one because they both play very similar in like the kind of style of point and guns and whatnot. They are intrinsically very different as well, but you can use their guns for this game as opposed to finger guns, which is a lot more thematic of an element. Anyway, yeah, Russian Roulette is a solid, hands-down recommendation if you haven't checked this game out and it sounds even remotely interesting for you. Yes, I approve of it. Seal of approval. Pick up this game. All right, guys, my voice is basically out, as you can tell. Thank you so much for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Russian Roulette, the World Championships, of course. If you're interested, there's a link down below in the description where you can pick this game up by Tuesday Night Games. I got a few more games I'm reviewing from them, which I'll show you guys probably this week or next week. But I wanted to cover this one because it's fun, it's quick, and hopefully my voice wouldn't go completely out by the end of the video. Yeah, I normally try and give some critiques, left negative and positive, to try and be a little neutral for games so you can kind of decide for yourself, but I love this game. Like, I'm a sucker for these kind of party, push your luck games, intense moments and stuff. I wish I could give you a negative just to feel like I was being fair to it, but like, honestly, it's just the theme. Like, if you don't want to play a theme like this with the guns and all that, then you need to stay away from it. But like, otherwise, this does exactly what I want it to do. Yeah, okay, I tried thinking of it. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, the like button, all that good stuff. It does greatly help us out, especially since I can't make as many videos right now. My computer, my $4,000 PC just exploded on me the other day. So my voice, then my computer, and now I'm working with my old computer. It's been a mess, so any comments and all that, lift my spirits up this week. I would appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I look forward to playing some Russian Roulette with you next time.